I see he's afraid you'll have to return to your college classes before he gets back here.
Well, I have another 3 weeks. It's been a short vacation, but a good one. I guess it pays to have the Lone Ranger for nothing. Oh, by the way, I brought back a newspaper from town.
The Gold Creek Clarion. This is James Curtis, publisher.
The newspaper is just starting. This is its first edition.
Well, apparently they're having an election for sheriff.
The paper's supporting the Marshall Grant. Haven't we heard of him, sir?
Yes, Dan, we have. He was marshal in Texas a few years ago. It seems the governor appointed him temporary marshal here in Gold Creek.
I remember Tonto speaking of him as a good lawman.
Yes, Grant is... Now, that's strange. Look at this item. Large crime increase the past week. Why should there be an outbreak of lawlessness a week before election? Clean elections are very important.
Maybe we should look into this one, sir.
We'll water and feed the horses, and then go on to Gold Creek.
There, Jimmy. Volume 1, issue number 2. All I have to do now is set up my editorial. Oh, good morning, Mr. Hawkins.
Good morning, Miss Curtis. Brought over your groceries.
I'll get your money.
Oh, you can pay me when you come by. Do you have an extra copy of the Clarion?
We're all sold out.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I understand you came out for Marshall Grant for sheriff.
Yes.
You ought to back the winning horse, Mrs. Curtis. Luke Potter will be elected.
Not if everyone gets out to vote.
Oh, I'm not even going to bother.
Sam?
Oh, hello, Marshal.
I'm not asking you to vote for me, Sam, but vote. This is one of the few countries where you have that privilege, and it's your duty to use it so we can make this town a good place to live.
now get off the soapbox, Marshal. This town will be the same no matter who gets elected.
You're so wrong, Sam.
Well, that's my opinion. Goodbye, folks.
I stopped by to say thanks for supporting me in that editorial, Mrs. Curtis.
What do you think are the reasons for the outbreaks of murders and robberies this last week?
Well, I have my suspicions, Mrs. Curtis, but I haven't been able to prove anything. It's almost as though... Stay inside.
Another holdup in broad daylight. That's some marshal we have. Can't even deal with a few petty outlaws. Oh, how do you do, ma'am? You're Mrs. Curtis?
Yes, I am.
I'm Elias Bradley, and this is Luke Potter, who's running for sheriff.
Mr. Potter?
It's an honor, ma'am. It's terrible, all these shootings.
It was terrible indeed. Did you gentlemen come to see me for anything?
Well, we've come to congratulate you on your newspaper, Mrs. Curtis. We're indeed fortunate you decided to settle here.
Well, I felt that there would be more opportunity in a new town.
Mrs. Curtis, if you require any assistance, just feel free to call upon me. As owner of the hotel and the stage line to Yuma, I have some influence in these parts.
Thank you.
Well, that's a fine-looking hand press you have there.
It belonged to my late husband.
Oh, if you'll allow me. You know, as a young man in San Francisco, I was a printer's devil. I can appreciate this machine. There aren't many of them in the West. Mrs. Curtis, since you're going to make your home in Gold Creek, I know you want the best for it.
I do.
Do you realize that last week alone there were more murders and holdups than in the past 6 months? Do you know what that means?
I'd like to find out.
Well, it means that our marshal doesn't command very much respect. I'd like to make a suggestion.
What's that?
In your next issue, why don't you print that you've examined Mr. Potter's qualifications more thoroughly, and you've switched your support to him as sheriff?
I'd only be too glad to look into Mr. Potter's qualifications. And if I felt that he were better suited, why, certainly I'd support him for sheriff.
That's fine, Mrs. Curtis. You won't regret it. Come on, Luke. Good day.
Want a good 10